conference today are part of that circle. And then there's this last ring, which they call economic exchange. I don't like that, but it's really the other people that we come in contact with. Some may be businesses, some may be people we work with or whatever, but we don't have that kind of relationship with them. And so TIES really focuses on building very personal, private, supportive networks, because they found that if we are able to do that for ourselves and the people we care about, that we can create communities that are more inviting and hospitable, where everybody is welcomed, where there is a sense of intention and purpose, because we all really strive for that, I think. That we are called to ask everybody to contribute, and Plan's philosophy, who helped create this, was that there's no disability that precludes contribution, and sometimes the contribution is to be, and a community forms around you, but everybody has that ability, and that it sometimes takes someone who makes a commitment to rebuild that little community, that intentional community. So TIES reflects that. Plan did these hands-on networks for about 20 years. And when we saw them, we discovered that we had found the block club we were looking for in terms of organizing. That if you live in a neighborhood and work on neighborhood issues, you can you can get people on the block together and they talk about, the traffic or stop signs or something. But long-term care issues, nobody really wants to talk about, it seems. And yet, if you make these networks real lively and begin to invite people in, it puts IHSS and paratransit and some of those other issues front and center for more people. So I'll tell you a story. We do a network for a fellow named Ricardo Leones, and he was an early leader in the creation of IHSS. So we have pictures of Ricardo in front of City Hall with home care workers and others, and next to him is a sign that says, $4.25 an hour, home care workers deserve more. And that's really where it was when this movement started, $4.25 an hour. And so over time, the unions organized and consumers organized, and we're at a better place. Now, Ricardo's in his mid-80s, and yet he was an important part of our movement. So we've organized people to still be in his life and to celebrate his accomplishments. And so we had a party for him recently. We said, who do you want to come to your party? And he said, we said, you want the groups that you volunteered with? He said, yeah. And they said, who else? He said, dogs. I want dogs to come to my party. And we said, dogs. Then we realized in his work life, he used to be an animal caretaker, and where he lives now, he can't have an animal, a pet. And so we thought this would make for a fun party. We invited all the people we knew who had well-behaved dogs, and they came. And the only problem was the paratransit van forgot to pick up Ricardo. Now, we managed to get somebody over there to kind of, gather him up and get him to the party. And when he got there, the dogs were happy and we were happy, and he had a great party. But the truth is, if he hadn't made it there, paratransit would no longer have been his issue. It would have been everybody's issue at that party, because people would have said, this was so important to him. How come that ride couldn't pick him up? I want to understand how that happened. So that's why I think these personal networks are so important, to be able to tell our stories and get them out in a very personal way with other folks. So let's contrast TIES with Facebook, because it gives you an idea of the elements of social media here. So TIES networks are very personal. They usually start around one person and a community forms. And you get to choose carefully who's in that network, because you want people that you're close to. Where Facebook is wide open, so you'll have people who are your friends who maybe you've never even met. My husband has 1,700 friends on Facebook. Well, it's like, who are all these people, right? I don't know. And once he made the mistake of putting out an invitation to a potluck at our house on Facebook. And the minute I saw it, I just called him up and said, you have to take that off. You don't have the address. You can't invite 1,700 people that we don't know, mostly, to our house on this day. So he took it down. But it is really the different experience. And when you post something on Facebook, you're never really sure where it goes. So, you put it there, but then does it go to everybody on your list or only some people? And it's a little confusing. So one is very private, one is very open. The other one ties us around strengthening relationships. So you really look for 5 or 10 or 15 people that you want to grow with and be with, and you want them to appreciate you, and you want to appreciate them. That's what TIES is about, where, on Facebook it's more counting. And so my husband was very proud when he hit the 1,500 mark. So it's about counting relationships, not really strengthening them. Ties is very secure, and you only get in because someone gives you permission. And then if you are not, if you're not contributing or you're not supportive, then you can basically get excused from the group. So it's very private in that way. And it comes with a certain amount of training. So I want you to just see what it looks like. Because the elements here are the same elements as Facebook or some other sites, but they're much simpler and easier to kind of get. So you see, this is a network for Ella, and Ella's picture is on the top left corner here. And Ella's network has a purpose, and all of these networks have a purpose. I have a network for my family, and it's really about telling the family stories and about being able to talk with my children about things like durable power of attorney and wills and all that. They won't want to talk about that because they think I'm dying. So we have to find a way to talk about it that's neutral, and I can say it's a part of the site. So Ella's there to really keep her involved in the community. And underneath her picture are the pictures of people who are in her network. And if you click on each of those, you'll learn a little bit about them. Down the middle is the newsy portion. So every time somebody posts some piece of information, it kind of comes up here in the middle. And if there's pictures, you can see at the bottom, there's pictures from a picnic that get posted. On the right-hand side, it's sort of the functions, so you can send messages and it will just go to people in this network. You don't have to worry about where these messages are going. You can even send a private message if you want to just reach one person in the network. You can schedule events and tasks, stories, so forth, and I'll show you examples of these. So, for example, there's a calendar page, looks like a calendar in a book, and you can post individual events. So as a community is looking to form, or even your organization is looking to have a life that's visible, you can begin to post events so people know and can invite others to participate. You can use it to do tasks. So again, we say it's generally for one person, but it also could be for an organization to use. So the task might be update the bylaws, recruit new members, bring the refreshments for the next meeting. And you have a way to sort of put them out here and then delegate them out, or people can volunteer to take them. My favorite part of all of this is the stories and photos. We all need to learn how to be better storytellers because what we're doing is so very important. And if we can get better at that, then we won't be so shy when the media comes. We'll be more willing to tell our story in front of a board of supervisors, and we'll get better at it. So our lives are complicated, and it's sometimes hard to talk for 2 minutes and really get to the point. So if we learn, to tell these stories succinctly and with pictures, we can do this more effectively in the public arena. So this is a way to do this. And it also charts how a community grows. So, you may have people involved right now, and you tell sort of what you're doing for a year or so, and then you might invite somebody new into the group. So they have a way to catch up on the history and then begin to make history themselves as the community grows. There's also a place to share files, so you can upload minutes, tasks, agenda, all of that. And there's this area called the vault where you can put private information so that if you want to keep stuff that's secure, you can put it there. And this is a sample of some of the questions. So it's not about what you need so much, it's about what you want. And so often the conversations are just about needs, and we all want to be appreciated for the sense of purpose and what we have to contribute. And